The man is conducting a dangerous experiment. He's actually filling the bulb with drink. He turns the bulb on. Not only did the bulb not blow up, but it also glows blue. At that moment, a large hand suddenly appeared in the blue light. The man shuddered in fear. Then the hand disappeared in a strange way. To find out what was going on, he pushed the bulb slowly forward. Just then, a long-dead miner suddenly appeared in front of him. The miner looked terrified when he saw him too. To get a better view, he continued to push the bulb forward, but just at that moment, the wire suddenly fell out. The blue light went out. The miner disappeared into the darkness again. A messy clatter followed as he headed for the stairway. The man was terrified, but he also realized that his experiment had worked. He looked at the picture on the wall and rejoiced in his heart. We should soon be reunited. The man is an inventor. He had finally created a blue light that could spot ghosts. Then, the man bought a steel pipe and mounted the bulb on it. He makes a moving blue torch. Then he arrived at a dilapidated old house. Once inside, it was clear. It had been abandoned for years. There was still a hint of eeriness in the darkness. Then, he found a book on the floor. In the next moment, the book turned itself over. He knew there must be a ghost in here. He immediately switched on his blue torch, and he found a spooky puppet with strings. I had no idea that puppets could become ghosts. He locked eyes with the puppet. He saw that the puppet was harmless, so he waved a greeting to the puppet. The puppet then waved back at him. He didn't expect the puppet to understand the man's meaning. Then, the man continued to explore the depths of the building. He passed through a dark corridor. He came to a hall. When the blue torch shone on the wall, a tattered poster appears on the wall. The poster depicts a wartime scene, but in reality, the poster had already fallen to the floor. Then he put the blue torch close to the record player. The record player played music from the 70s. And then a couple of men and women appeared in the hall. They were dancing in the hall to the music. Years ago this was a dance hall. He didn't have time to enjoy it, continuing to explore the room. Suddenly, he heard a horrible hissing sound from inside the building. It seemed to be coming from the front room. He cautiously went inside. He found scratch marks all over the walls of the room. He raised his blue torch. A horrible creature shone out of him. It seemed that the scratches on the walls were the work of this creature. This creature didn't look like a good guy. It was not like the ghosts he had seen before. Just then, the creature also spotted him, and then it attacked him. The blue torch in the man's hand was broken. The monster's anger grew. The air was filled with the sound of his hissing. The man saw that the situation was bad. He escaped from the room. After escaping, he immediately started to change the light bulb. But just then, the monster found him again. The chair on the floor was then shaken. The man knew that the monster was ahead. He hurriedly changed the light bulb and looked ahead, but the monster was nowhere to be seen. But the monster was already behind him. The man felt something was wrong. He turned around quickly. He hit the monster's left hand with the blue light in his hand. The monster's left hand slowly disappeared. The monster looked at the weapon in the man's hand with a frightened expression. He too became frightened. He then disappeared into the darkness with his fading left hand. Then the man walked down to the basement, for a simple but beautiful woman appeared before his eyes. This woman was the one in the picture. When the woman saw the man, with a question in her eyes, it was only when she recognized the man that she smiled happily. The man moves forward to take the woman's hand, but his body could not touch it. The man leads the woman to the ballroom. Under the light of the blue torch, the ballroom was instantly restored to its former glory. Then, a man in a military uniform appeared in front of the woman. He looked at the woman with a puzzled look on his face, and then the woman's eyes were filled with surprise. It was as if they had been waiting for this moment for years. So they were a couple, and the man was their son. When the man was less than a year old, his father had left for the front, leaving his mother to bring him up on her own. The burden of the family rested on his mother's shoulders. Within a few years, his mother dies young of overwork. The man wanted to see his parents again. He has been working on a time machine to recreate the past. Now the man's wish comes true. There is not a single line of dialogue in this film. A thriller worth watching.